Alright, I'm back. Okay, I think I got it. Sorry if that made you guys a little seasick there. Oh, I got it pulled up on my computer and it looks a little blurry, so just wanted to clean off the camera lens. Does it look blurry to you guys? Does the quality look okay? You can only stream an H720 instead of 1080, but let me know real quick. For the couple people that are watching, will you comment real quick and say if it's the camera's clear? I need to figure out what I'm going to do here as far as how to go about painting this thing. Look at this picture again. Alright, so I did white base coat the bait, and I did eat some dinner, so I'm all set to go. My belt's digging right into my stomach, sorry about that. As a matter of fact, I'll take that right off. Alright, digging right into my stomach. It's annoying. Alright, so smallmouth bass. I don't have very many colors to choose from here, so I know smallmouth bass is more brown and bronze than like a largemouth is more green. So I'm trying to determine here. Will somebody please comment if this if the camera is clear and not blurry, because on my computer it's showing it's blurry. So please let me know. So if it is, I can restart the feed over with it. I don't want you guys trying to watch something that doesn't look clear. But anyway, smallmouth bass is this transparent? I'm just gonna start slinging paint and hopefully come up with something here. I think I've got some mixed up paints here too that I made. That dark green. Yeah, custom one. So this is just a custom mixed green that I made. Smallmouth does have green in it. Alright, I'm just gonna go for it here. My idea here is, you know, it does have green, but it does have brown and got a few colors into it. So I'm gonna start with a yellow. Because I have all bright yellows. I want to start with that yellow to because if the yellow is the first color, then the colors that go over it's gonna tone it down. So the first color I'm going to spray is a Comart, just a Hansa yellow. The reason I like Comart's paints is because they come pretty much all thinned out already, so they're easy to spray. So I'm just spraying this really light. I don't want any bright colors on this. So turn down my air pressure. Doing a real light base coat of this yellow. Across everything except for the belly. Because I know from personally smallmouth bass fishing, because that's my favorite fish to go for during summer. I do a lot of smallmouth fishing. I know personally that the bellies on smallmouth are like a dirty white. And I have a solution for that too. How to get that effect. So that's that. It's a nice little light, not too dark. Just like that. That's it. Just gonna heat set that real quick. Clean this out now. Put on my other earbud here. Cleaning out this yellow out of my brush real quick. this is these bottles are, I have a couple that just have water in them, and then one has denatured alcohol in it. Actually, denatured alcohol, 75-25% mixed with water, so it's not overwhelming. So now I have this green. It's a little bit dark, like a olive, like a moss green. I'm gonna come in and mix this up because it's been sitting for a while. This is a custom color. This is not any that you get out of the store. So the idea that I have is kind of lightly spray this across too. Then when I go over with my browns, there should only be like a hint of both the yellow and the green, which is kind of what I'm picking up from the photo. A little reducer here. Just kind of get it flowing. If this bait comes out decently, this will be going up on my Facebook page for auction, so if you guys want to get over there, for whoever's watching, you're going to see the whole process. So if you'd like to have this bait, you can go over there and bid on it and so on and so forth. Right there's the link to my Facebook page. So I did notice that the nose, on the particular picture that I'm looking at, the nose and the tail is a little bit darker. So I'm just gonna hit those real quick. Not doing anything major here. I'm not laying on a bunch of paints, just really light, thin. Real thin layer here. And I'm just keeping the nose and the tail a little bit darker. You have some tip dry going on. Tip dry is very common, especially with Createx colors. Take care of that. Just take off your little needle protector there and clean that needle with your thumb. Alright, so hopefully you guys can see that green that's in there now. Again, I'm not spraying the bottom because the belly on these are like a dirty white. So that's all I'm doing on that. Again, disclaimer, I haven't done this pattern. So however this comes out, we're seeing it together. Just using my instincts and and what I have available. Alright, so now what I want to do is, this is going to be my one thing right here. I'm going to throw in a little gold here as an undertone. I'm going to use a golden, iridescent gold. Pretty good color. Also, golden is kind of like Comart colors. They come pretty thinned out already. Have I not used this yet? Might have to. No, haven't even used this one yet. Anyway, golden and Comart colors come pretty thinned out. That's why I like using them. They spray real nice and evenly, and you don't have to mess with reducer that much at all, if ever. Yeah, so this is just going to be a nice little, again, light coat. Just to give it a little... This is where the bait's going to start turning to that bronze. Really hope this bait comes out so I don't look like an idiot on YouTube. Just gonna hit that with the heater real quick. A little bit more, especially on top. Alright, so that gave it a nice shine. Got a little, it's the first kind of tone that I need, so. Again, that was Golden's Iridescent Gold. Alright, this next color I haven't used yet either, so I need to cut that open. I know I haven't used this because I just bought this today. This is a Transparent Sand by Createx. I actually like this color by Createx. It's a real light kind of sand colored brown. hence the name transparent sand. I like it. The last bottle I had last time I painted sprayed well, so I didn't have to mess with it too much. Just gonna hit a couple drops in. Yeah. So this is where I'm gonna get the real bronze looking color. The bronze and the gold. And again, I'm gonna spray over that tail and that nose a lot more than the other parts of the body. Because if you remember, I sprayed a lot of green on that. So I want to fade those in now. I don't want any definite. At the same time, I don't want to go too heavy because I want it to still want it to show a little bit. So now we're getting into the more browns and bronze color into it. I think I'm going to stop right there with the brown. Now the green is still showing through a little bit. You might not be able to see it on the camera. The yellow, not so much, but there is a little hint, which is what I was going for. Alright, so that does that for the sand. What I'm going to be doing next is our magic stencil. I think. Just trying to compare it to the actual picture. I like the outcome so far, so what I'm doing here is shaking up this sepia. Sepia is a magical color. If you don't have sepia in your database of paint, you need to stop what you're doing right now and order some. I have golden's sepia. So what we'll be doing now is the actual stencil. So again, I'm gonna get our stencil that I already cut. Now the only thing I'm gonna have to do here is, obviously this bill is gonna be a problem. So I just gotta kind of figure out a way. I might have to do this in two different stencils. I might have to cut the stencil here to kind of get it how I want it. Just gonna take a look here. Yeah, I think. Let me start by doing this first. So what I just did was you saw what I just did. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut it because I have a couple things going on here. So the bill is creating the problem with the stencil going down flat. So I'm just gonna kind of cut this up. We're just going to have to do it in 2 stages here. So, 2 different stencils now. Just going to take a look here. Okay. So I got the stencil on right. This isn't, I'm going to play with it a little bit more, but I just want to show you that I had to cut the head off, the piece that goes over the eyes and the gill plate. And I also cut a slit in it so it could go over top and underneath the bill. You might have to do this type of stuff. Now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take another piece of tape here for overspray. And again, you're going to want to put this on your clothes because you're putting it on a painted bait already. So you want to get some of that tackiness off. I'm just going to go up and down on my jeans real quick. Across my paper towel. Paper towel is always good too, because that holds a lot of nasty stuff. And all I'm going to do is just cut off this section for overspray. Completely mask it off, so that way I can spray confidently. So now I should be able to spray that without worrying about overspray. Sepia. Again, you're going to want to start out thin with this. See how it looks and then go from there. So I'm just going to pick up the corner real quick and see kind of what it looks like. I'm not going to take the whole stencil off yet, because I want I'm going to go just a little bit darker. Now I'll take off that head stencil, let you guys see. Oh, that's cool. So now I'm just going to fix the body stencil now. Straighten it all out, get that ready to spray. Make sure she's all good to go. And again, I'm going to be using the overspray technique. You don't want to overspray on your bait, so just kind of tape it off accordingly. Again, as I said earlier, disclaimer. You can go buy a stencil that clips right on there, and you won't have all this extra stuff to do, but it literally takes 10 seconds. No, thank you. Now again, light first. Kind of make sure that it all looks same even color here. Baby, what you doing? Are you eating? Now you just want to peel this tape off slowly. Don't want to go crazy.
You talking to me?
No, baby, I'm not talking to you. I'm not sure they can see you. Come over here in front and wave. Now wave. You eating some bacon? Alright, come on. Love you. Upstairs, babe. So it's that simple. But right away, my stripe that goes through the eye, you know, that one that's supposed to go through the center of the eye is not long enough, so I'm going to adjust that. You can do this freehand. I'm confident enough that I could do it. So I'm just going to clean off my needle. Get right in there and don't be afraid. Have confidence in yourself. Just turning down my air pressure so I don't overspray. So I just extended that eye just a little bit. What I'll do now is the other side. Not that bad, actually. One more of these. Like one little... See, in doing stencils like this, you can do what I'm about to do. I kind of want one more spot down there at the tail. That tail's a little bare down there, so I'm just gonna take one of these real quick. Probably that one right there. When I'm doing turn my stencil sideways, and I'm gonna use one of the other holes that I cut out to kind of fill in there. just taping off the surrounding spots. Just to kind of add an extra little piece at the tail. Get creative and do whatever you got to do there. Now proceed on to the other side. Again, what I'm going to have to do is cut the stencil up. I think what I'll do is I'll actually just extend this right here. So I just extended that middle one just a little bit more. Ooh, so I just cut my stencil on accident. Looking at where I need to cut this. Alright, that looks good to me. Just gonna tape this off again. Now remember, the more paint that you put on it, the more pronounced it looks, the more unnatural it looks, so just keep that in mind. There's the head on that side, we'll say, head. Oh. Move into the body here. And all you want to do is just try to line it up accordingly to the other side as well. Get kind of a matching stencil. Obviously, smallmouth bass is not, the spots on both sides are not the exact same, I don't believe. But, you know. Just do your best and be creative and do whatever you want to do. Just adjusting everything, just getting everything the way it needs to be. There she is. Again, be careful with the tape, nice and slow when you're pulling it off. Kind of check out both sides. Just gonna add that little piece at the end down here again. Not too shabby. This one is a little... Don't be afraid to get in there free-handed too. It doesn't always have to be a stencil. Earbuds died already. Anyway, so that was sepia. So now what I'm going to do is I think I actually want to make these top ones a little bit more pronounced because I am going to hit it with some black. You just got to kind of line your stencil back up accordingly. Tip dry going on here. Too much came out, so all I do is take a little Q-tip and kind of tap at it. I'll blend it out for the most part. That's a little bit better. Not too shabby. Yeah, that's good enough. So I'm just going to take some sepia and go lightly across the back real quick. Before I hit it with black. I'm going to clean up this now. Alright, so I'm just going to take some black now, create text, and I will thin this out, so I don't want nothing heavy. Reducer. A lot of these new guys like to make their own reducer. I don't suggest it. I suggest you buy what's made for airbrush paint. Obviously it's a proven formula that works. Don't want to take my advice? That's fine. Do your thing. So a couple things here. This black is what's going to make that the belly dirty. And I'll show you how we're going to do that. Gotta get this thinned out enough. Now let me find. Be very careful doing this. What you're doing here is you're taking off both the needle guard and the first one here. And what that's going to create is your ability to stipple. So you just got to adjust your air pressure down to the right thing. I'm trying to find a little piece of paper or something. I can show you what a stipple is. So the stipple effect is to get little dots. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this or not. Stippling. You take off your needle guard and the first spot, I don't know the technical name of it, and then you turn down your air pressure, so it's basically throwing the paint out of it instead of spraying it in a nice even stream. So that's what we're going to do on the belly now. This is going to create that dirty looking effect that I'm going for. Stippling can be fun, guys. Careful because your needle is completely exposed right now, so you don't want to bend it. But just a whole bunch of little dots, stipple, kind of give that belly dirty look. And as soon as you get done with that, get your needle guards back on. You don't want to bend that needle because then you have to buy a new one. You're going to have to turn your air pressure back up so you can spray normally now. And all I'm going to do is just darken this bait up. I'm also gonna smoke out that belly so it's not so white. Me personally, I always like to darken up the eyes. The back. You don't want to go overboard though, because this will make it look like completely different bait. I'm just going to clean out this black real quick, and I want to throw a little of that golden iridescent back over top of it. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. Just got an idea here. Gotta get this black out. Alright, so all I'm going to do with this is just do a really light spray. I'm only putting in like a drop. Turn down my air pressure, and this is just going to give that a nice little shine again. You can see how far I have my airbrush back from the bait. I'm just trying to get that gold flake look to it. I don't want it to look gold, I just want that little shine. It looks good to me, so. I think that's pretty much done, so I'm going to peel off the tape here. See what it looks like with the nice clean clear bill. Pick out some eyes real quick. See a little red in the eyes. Obviously I don't have supernatural looking eyes. I can go full red. I do have a couple. Alright, so just going to do a little cleanup here, kind of get situated. So you guys just watched me do a bait from nothing to something. That is what it takes. Obviously, doing it for the first time is going to take a lot longer than, you know, after you do it a dozen times and you get a flow down and you know what colors to use, what colors not to use. This is first time I'm doing this pattern, so all these colors I did use is kind of like a trial, and they will adjust accordingly to what I think and feel. So that is that. This is the start of my smallmouth pattern. Again, that nice dirty belly, not bright white, not a pearl white. Eyes have a little red in them, they're not straight red. Some people like straight red eyes. I do. Yeah, it's got a nice gold flake to it too, like a bronze color, so it is how it's supposed to be. I don't know how well the camera's actually picking it up or not. I'm trying to watch it on my screen real quick, but what I am going to do is I'm going to keep the camera running. I'm going to, since my heater just came on, I'm going to warm up my epoxy using BSI. So I'm going to just throw this on the heat real quick. Warming up your epoxy makes it more workable, and you get a little bit more working time. So I'm going to show you how I clear coat a bait as well. Which you guys, if you're not new to my channel, then you already know how to. Now, I've used a few different clear coats. I've used Bob Smith Industries, which is BSI. I've used DevCon 2-ton epoxy. That's the one that I actually first started out with when I started a few years back. I'm using Bob Smith's BSI now. I've used Alumalite. I was using Alumalite before everybody else was using it. Now it's a big thing. I actually still have my setup. I just don't have any. I kind of like it, kind of don't like it. It's alright. I have not used KBS and I have not used Envirotech, so I can't speak on those. A lot of people do use the KBS, which I've heard good things about it, but you do need a turning wheel for that. So I don't have a turning wheel, so I kind of stick to the 2 parts epoxies and the Alumalite. Aluma UV is actually what it's called. It's a UV cure resin. You just put it in the UV light for, you know, I got mine 10-15 minutes, and you can actually go out and fish it that quick. So there's a lot of advantages to that. Anyway, so I'm just gonna get ready here. Clear coat this, and when you do clear coat it, you know, you can put fleck in it, you know, your glitter, and you can make it all shiny and stand out. I'm not going to do that with this one. I kind of went for like a more natural look with this instead of you know, a pronounced vibrant look. So that's that. I got my brush ready. I'm going to be using a brush. I cut the tip off, right, so I can stir the epoxy. That's what this lid's for. It's just a plastic sauce, like a little sauce cup. You can buy these from Walmart for a couple dollars. So you get like 50 in a pack, and all these. Woo, little sauce cup. So I'll use the lid for one, and I'll use the inside for another. Then actually, when this dries, I'll flip it over and I'll use the bottom for another bait. So you can get a few uses out of this if you want to. I also use it for storing mixed paints. See, I'll mix some paint, put it right in there and store it. They only last so long, though. I mean, but little tips and tricks that you pick up along the way. So my epoxy is just warming up still. I'll grab that off the heater in just a second. So meanwhile, I can throw. I'm not gonna spray anymore tonight. I just wanted to do this one video with you guys. So I'm gonna take some denatured alcohol. Just pour it right into my airbrush here. I'm just gonna let that sit. What that's gonna do is it's gonna turn all that paint. It's gonna run it right into the cup for me so I can clean it out. What I do is I call this a semi-clean. It's gonna clean out the paint cup, the part of the needle that's in the paint cup and that's been used the most in the nozzle and everything. So it's kind of just like a semi-clean. It's not a full detailed clean like I did earlier before I started. So this way I can actually spray tomorrow if I wanted to without doing a deep cleanse. And I'll just let that sit the whole time that I'm doing this bait. Alright, so it's moving pretty well. Alright, so this is real simple stuff. It's a two-part epoxy, so you need two even amounts. You don't want to have different amounts. So the way I do it is I bought a stainless steel spoon. This is an teaspoon, an eighth of a teaspoon, 0.63 milliliters. Okay, and this is stainless steel. Again, 1/8 teaspoon, 0.63 milliliters. The reason you want stainless steel is because you're going to have to clean this. The epoxy is going to dry up, it's going to clean, it's going to build up in there, and you want to be able to clean it. If you don't get stainless steel, the denatured alcohol is going to eat away at stuff. It's easier to clean. You know, it doesn't rust, it stays clean as long as you clean it. All that good old stuff. So stainless steel, get it. And this is easy. You just, and this is enough to do one bait. If you want to attempt to do two baits, you can buy a different size. Like this is a quarter teaspoon, tablespoon. So this 1/8 teaspoon is just enough for one bait. You're not going to have a crazy extra amount. I mean, you are going to have a little extra amount that you're going to throw out, but not an overwhelming amount, so you don't lose that much product and you get enough to do your bait. As you see, I just scrape it all out right here, get as much as I can out, and then I clean it off because you don't want, so I just use the yellow half of the two-part epoxy. So when I go to do the black half, if I already have the yellow in there, that's going to give me less black, so it's not going to be a super proper mix. So I clean it out, fill it right back up to the brim, so that way I'm as close to as equal as I can get. And one of the benefits about this two-part epoxy is you do not, I repeat, you do not need a drying wheel. Some people think you do. I don't know why. I've seen it on some of the Facebook forums and bait maker forums that, oh, I can't use BSI, I don't have a wheel turner. Well, you don't need one. So that's it. Just wipe it off and put it away. Mix this stuff up pretty good. Don't be shy about it. I go one way for a little bit. Get it all mixed in, then I go the other way. Clockwise, then counterclockwise. And I kind of scoop it all into the middle. Then circles again. You just got to get it mixed up pretty well. Now as soon as you activate this stuff by mixing it together, yes, it says 30-minute epoxy. No, you do not have 30 minutes to play with this. You have just a few minutes. It's going to start to set up in about 3 to 5 minutes, 8 at the most. If you get lucky, you can do a little touch of denatured alcohol in here to thin it out and to make the working life a little bit longer. But you literally don't have 30 minutes. So don't think if you're buying 30-minute epoxy along with DevCon 30-minute epoxy, no, you do not have 30 minutes to sit there and do a 12 baits. You have like 5 minutes. And the longer you sit here and mix it, the more time you're taking away from yourself. So that's it. We just get on. Between the eyes and this, and you can see I kind of glob it on across the bait like this. You know, I put some dabs on, and then I'll go back out, go back through and start spreading it out now. It's just easier. And you want to go back and forth across this bait every which way 30,000 times. And again, you want bright lights, because if you try doing epoxy without good lighting, you will miss spots. And you won't be able to see them unless you have proper lighting. Again, going back and forth every which way 30,000 times does help avoid that. But invest in some good lights. Like I already admitted earlier, I do need a couple more in my booth here. So I have had trouble with seeing a few things. So I'm going over to the other side again, just dabbing some here and there across the bait. Don't want just one whole dab right there. I just want to dab it across. It's going to be easier to work with. And me, I like starting up at the nose of the bait. I don't know why, it's just how I do it, I guess. Like working in the eye socket. Then I'll come down to the body. Start going all around. Now I'll put it some on the back, on the belly. So this brush I'm using, you can buy this from Walmart. Painting section in the kids craft section. You get like 30 brushes for $1.97. Easily use them for epoxy, then throw them away. Do not try to save them, they're super cheap. That is another benefit of the Alumilite UV or sorry about that. That's the compressor. I know it's super loud. But it does have to replenish itself of air. Anyway, I was talking about this brush. These brushes I use. And the benefit of Alumilite UV is that you can use the same brush over and over and over again, as long as it doesn't get exposed to sunlight or UV light. Then it stays soft until that light does get to it. As with two-part epoxy, The brush only stays soft until it starts to cure. So, but you can go to Walmart and buy these cheap brushes, throw them away. 97 cents for 30 of them, so it's not too bad. I'm just getting the excess around the eye socket because I don't like that buildup in there and that whole dome look it has. Some people just leave that in there. I don't like that. Then I just kind of go back over, and what you want to do is just go every which way a million times, like I said. You want to do this until it gets tacky enough and you don't have no more time to work with it. You cannot do this too much. And then you just want to use your lighting. Turn the bait every which way, looking at all the different angles, making sure that you got it completely covered with epoxy. And this stuff is self-leveling, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Obviously, you don't want a big glob up here and thinned out back here. You want to even it out as much as you possibly can, but there's one little spot I missed, so I'll just work in the areas around it. Getting front hook hanger right there. Again, I'm just going to check all the angles of the light, make sure that I got all the epoxy. Got the whole bait covered. Right there's one little, looks like there's a little piece of debris in there. Gotta get that off. See, the stuff's starting to get tacky now. How long has it been? 5 minutes? Just working this in the back there. Again, just rechecking it all. And that's that. So there you go. Smallmouth bass pattern. I just almost dropped it. That would have been horrible. I've done that a million times. I did get a little drop on the bill here. Taking a wet Q-tip. Just getting that little spot off. Some people like to clear coat the bills. This bill isn't too bad, so I don't need to clear coat this one. But if it did have scratches from the sanding and stuff, you just clear coat the bill, and that takes care of that. So what I do now is let this baby dry. BSI takes about, I think you can touch in about 6 to 8 hours. Fully cures 24 hours. But it's actually, you can actually touch it without leaving fingerprints or messing up the clear coat in about 8 hours or so. So I'll just leave this until the morning. And that's what I do. I put a little clip on it and then I just hang it. I got a pegboard back here with pegs. I'll show you. Camera's gonna move. Sorry. So I have just a little pegboard, and that's it. That's all I do. There's the smallmouth bass pattern. Hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Show your friends and blah 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 blah. What's next? Oh yeah, I still have that psychotic bluegill pattern that I want to show you guys how to do. Hold on, I'll grab one real quick. Try not to move this camera too much. Where's the bluegill pattern? Here we go. So this pattern, my psychotic bluegill pattern, I'm going to be posting this. Show you guys how to get this one done as soon as we get up to 1,000 subscribers. So let's make that happen, and then you guys can learn how to do this one as well, which is another really fun pattern. So yeah, subscribe and all that stuff. You need to hit the bell so when I do go live you get a notification. And that's all my paint I have right now. That is literally, and they're all like, you know, I see 3 yellows, 3 greens, so they're all just primary sets, but good sets to get started with. Anyway, so that's that. Gonna end this and I don't know, do something with